I went to Keller Williams, Gary Keller's ownership meeting, and he said to us, go back and cut your budget by 30%. Remember that? And everyone looked at each other like, he's crazy. Why would we cut our budget? And he said, the storm is coming, basically. And we went back, and me and my business partner at the time, we cut the budget, and we survived extremely well in a shifted market. So Gary usually knows what's coming, and when I stood in front of the office meeting and told everyone that the storm was coming, Hollywood Hills was doing like gazillions of dollars in sales, and it was all celebrities, and everyone after the meeting came up to me and said, you're very pessimistic and you don't know our marketplace because celebrities will always buy, okay? So we are isolated. I'm going to ask you, Marty, is there any market that is isolated in a shifted market?
Absolutely not.
Bill?
No way. Everybody thinks their market is different. They're all the same. Whether you're in Tennessee or Florida or California, in all our different regions, they're all the same.
Harma?
Exactly.
Same, yeah. So we noticed a shift in the marketplace, Panos and I personally, about March. We started to see things struggling a little bit more. And I started to tell people like Linda, right? I said, Linda, I think that we're in a shift already. And people were like, no, we have multiple offers. Not my marketplace. So anyway, so I'm going to ask you guys a question, and then whoever wants to answer. Are we approaching a shift, or have we already shifted? Harma, in your marketplace. And what is your marketplace?
San Fernando Valley.
No.
I personally sell in West Hollywood and Hollywood Hills and some of the Studio City and Sherman Oaks. I've been talking to agents that market is shifting, be prepared. That was 2 years ago. And then finally I gave up. I'm like, I guess we're not shifting, and then we did shift. So for 2 years, I was like a liar out there telling them to be prepared, because it was supposed to shift a year and a half ago. And we've been really enjoying this market. I do think this is a normal market. It's not bad. Opportunity comes to people that they work hard in a rough market. Not, and an agent gets licensed, put the sign out, property is sold. I don't think you have done much. I think you have to be prepared to talk to a client that is into the normal market. If your mindset is like that, I don't think you will have to panic and think getting another job.
But is your market in a normal market now, or are you still shifting?
Yeah. No, it was 5 months ago that.
So about a year and a half ago, I went to Studio City office meeting, and Harma was there talking, and he kind of did the same thing I did in Hollywood Hills in 06. And people came up to me and he's so negative. I don't understand why he's talking about the market shifting. We're in a very strong market. And I said, well, we see things a little bit differently. We usually see them ahead of what the agent population is. And but I had several people, I never told you that, but I had several people come up to me.
I'm glad I'm no longer there.
Very good. Inventories is decent. This is the time when, this should be a normal market, and this is very healthy. There's room for everybody, and I actually am excited to see what the next year holds, because I think that this is when we can predict what's going to happen versus the last 10 years we haven't been able to. It's just been up and down and up and down and up and down. So it's a good thing, but in talking to your clients, I would say it's healthy. It's not a negative. It's getting back to the norms.
Marty, what's your marketplace, Marty?
San Diego to Sacramento.
There you go.
I work with hedge funds that give me stuff from San Diego all the way to Sacramento.
You're serious?
Yes, he is serious. I call him sometimes and he goes, I'm going to Pomona. And I'm like, why?
That's in California.
You need a green card to get out there, but yes. Listen, for us, it's busy. In this kind of a market, there's plenty of opportunities where we don't normally have these things. Our BPO counts are up. They've been slowly increasing over the last
Your
2 years.
BPO count started to go up January. right? You went from 15.
So we
So do you guys know what a BPO is?
No, I don't.
Broker price opinion. Okay? So when a bank thinks that there's going to be a foreclosure, they send out the REO agents out for a broker price opinion. And so his went from 15 a month to
We're probably doing a little over 75 to 100
a month.
and just in the last 6 months, it's really escalated. We got 11 this morning. So it's coming. It's definitely we're in the shift. The prices are shifting. I agree. I think this is when a lot of us are going to really thrive, because in an upturning market, everybody can make money. But I also believe that you just have to weather this a little longer. There's a disconnect between where sellers are and where buyers are. So very shortly that gap will narrow, and then the people that are actually good at what they do are going to make a lot of money.
Right. What type of opportunities do we have in this market and the upcoming market? Anyone want to answer first?
I think there's deals out there. I think now when something has to sell, anybody with a little bit of money can actually capitalize on it and actually get some much better deals. Stuff that we haven't been able to see in a while. This market's going to bring a lot of that out.
I believe in a buyer with a 5% down. I don't know about your average sell price, but in my sell price range, 5% down, motivated. I had a listing on Moore Park in Studio City, 490.
In the valley, just that Studio City's in the valley.
It's bad. It's 8 by
Just
8.
in case.
It's horrible. For some reason, and prices are going up. Yours is going down. But, anyway, it's a very ugly condo. It's a very ugly condo. 6 months, I had the listing, no offer, and a divorced lady, 5% down, seen the property, loves it, and I think next 12 months we will find those buyers with very low down payment, but emotionally ready to purchase. She can afford the payment because it was $520, now she got it for $460. So those are opportunities for those buyers, and also people that they've been waiting to invest their cash somewhere and park, not to flip. I think so. You just have to identify those two different categories and be there for them before anyone else. And the last thing I will say, knowing that pocket, knowing your market, I never met an agent who sells everywhere and does it really well. So be the expert in that pocket, and I think you will generate a lot of business.
I would agree. Is you go back to the agent, and this is the time for us to get back to basics, to pull in your spending and look at what you're spending. And recently, something happened to me. My daughter's credit card, which I didn't even know she had, but it had
Not
fraud on
good.
it. And yeah, that's always good, healthy. But it had fraud on it. We started getting all these calls like, no, this is so KPMG marketing. You owe us $125 for the last 3 months. You haven't paid us. Where's your money? And I go, who's KPMG marketing? I've never heard of you. I've never used you. Oh, we do this and this and this. I go, I didn't even know who you are. I had probably 6 or 7 of those accounts that I've been paying on a monthly basis, didn't know about. You know, those things that come to your office meetings and they say, hey, we can do this for you. And it's like, oh gosh, I'm going to sign up $22 a month, and then it goes up next year, and then it goes up next year. And all that stuff is really ridiculous. So don't keep signing up for all that stuff when they come to your office.
Giving your daughter a credit card that you didn't know helped you. Saved you money.
The credit card that you took probably, I didn't know. But it did. But it also opened my eyes to think, like, we do sign up for anything that we think is going to be easy, take the easy road out. But it's not the time to do that. Right now is really get down back to basics. And the basics it's still a relationship business. It's one-on-one. The technology is there. The artificial intelligence is there. It's all there to say, hey, we're really great. But it comes down to who you know and what you know. So go out there with your sphere of influence, and those are the people you really need to connect with and hit up. But on a seller side, the sellers are also pie in the sky still. You know, they're in the last 10 years, we've been up here, and hey, the market's down here. Well, we're going to give you an interest rate. We're going to drop the price a little bit. Well, that does no good. And it's your turn now to tell your seller and to be the expert and say, hey, the market is here. If you want to have this conversation in 6 months, go ahead. If you want the RE/MAX agent to come in and list it up here, fine, because then I'll come in 6 months and take your listing. but is to tell your sellers honestly, the market has shifted, this is what we're looking at, and if you want to get out of this house, you have to price realistically.
The market shifts up or down is people forget about what we just came from. And you know, when I used to sell real estate in the early 90s, before a lot of you were born, we used to take 1-year listings, and our average listing would take 6 to 9 months to sell. So that was a normal market. That what we've been accustomed to for the past 5-7 years is you get a listing and it sells within the first 30 days. And if it doesn't, there's a problem. What I'm starting to see is a lot of listings are sitting on the market, but they're actually selling pretty close to their asking price sometimes. It just, now we have more inventory. When you have more inventory, what happens to the buyer? He has to go around and look at all of those homes before he makes his final decision. And sometimes it takes a little bit longer. So the reason I'm saying that is don't panic if you're like, oh my God, you know, I priced it right, but it's still not selling. You know, everyone's like, reduce, reduce, reduce. It may not, it's just a matter of time sometimes. And it comes back and sells. And I've seen that over and over now recently, where things are, if you're priced right, got a good product, it just takes a little bit more time and then somebody comes up. Would you guys agree with that? Yeah, but you have to get off of the, I got a listing, I'm gonna get a check.
My clients, and that's my goal, is to reach out to them. And it's when nothing has happened in a week, literally, what have you done? Why haven't you shown the house? Why aren't people coming? Where are you advertising? What are you doing? It's the hardest conversation to make, but once you get on the phone, it comes natural. I mean, they're going to ask you questions that you can respond to, and this is what happened in your marketplace. And really knowing your numbers, that's what they want to know. Where are my numbers? Your house isn't selling because house down the street is listed here. You're up here. And it really comes down to a numbers game. If you're on the market for 9 months, there's a little bit of tension between you and the seller. And it really, at that point, does come down to price and hopefully not your marketing.
Yeah, I'll ask one more question, then we're going to open up the question and answers at the end.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sorry, you mentioned that we're getting into a normal market. What is a normal, days on the market in this normal market?
I can answer that. I had a buyer's agent told me that I showed 5 homes with buyers still confused. So I remember in 2007, I used to show 50 homes. So I told my buyer's agent, you just have 45 more to go.
A normal market is what I've seen in the past is, for me, is somewhere between 3 and 6 months. That's where your normal, and your interest rates are between 6 and 8%. That is a normal market. I know that's scary for all of you, because you come out of a 3.5%, 4% interest rate. But 6 to 8 and 3 to 6 months, that's what I...
6 to months for me is normal. In a high-end market, they don't sell right away. And so we're in it for the long haul. We spend a chunk of money right up front and then kind of let it roll out. As
You probably get a long listing period, right?
Yeah,
because you're investing.
We start at 6 months. Yes, of what we do. We don't take anything less than 6 months. And your clients are okay with that once they understand what you're doing and kind of our marketing proposal going in, they get it.
I think the key to all this is expectation, right? When you sit with someone, you have to set forth that expectation. One of the things that I find that's really important is if you don't communicate with them on a regular basis, Fridays, Mondays and Fridays, when you do call them for that reduction, bad. You might as well just shoot yourself in the head because they will come and show you know and find you. It's you have to be proactive. Communication is everything. An expectation. If you tell them, listen, we're going to be on the market for 6 to 8 months because of this or because of that, or while things are shifting. At least we've had this conversation. At least now in some part of their brain, they know that this is not going to happen overnight. Right? So you're kind of preparing them for that.
Right. And we had the pluses and minuses of what you guys have today. And the minus was we didn't have cell phones, we didn't have computers, we didn't have any of that stuff. So I used to carry about 24 listings every month because 1 out of every 4 would sell. Okay? So that's how I could get the market, make money during that market time. So what I used to do is tell all my sellers that I would call them on Thursday. Every Thursday, I'm going to call you and give you an update on your property. Okay? So I would start at 9, and at 9 o'clock in the morning, most people weren't home because nobody had cell phones. So landline. So they had answering machines, and I'd call them and say, "Hi, this is Rick. We had 0 showings. So when you have a chance, we probably need to talk about a price reduction. It's been now 4 weeks, 0 showings." So that was easy. Now they get a hold of you really quickly, so you don't have that opportunity. But I think Bill's point of, and Marty's setting expectation, set the expectation you're going to call them every week on so-and-so day. And then that way they know they're not calling you like, "So what's going on? Why haven't you shown my property?" They know their updates are going to be once a week on that day. And that clears it up. Because I'm telling you, you're going to need to have more inventory to make the same amount of money or more. Would you guys agree?
Yeah.
So it's just stack up the inventory as much as you can. Listings are always what?
Yeah, you got to.
Go ahead, Bill, you were going
I
to
was
say
going to say,
something.
there's also an app that, I don't use this, but somebody's told me about it, that you can call and it goes directly to voicemail. So if you don't want to talk to them, and you don't have great news, hey, I left you a message on Friday, you didn't get it, you didn't pick up. It'll go directly to voicemail. So make those hardest calls first, because the rest of the day gets easy.
They call you right back.
Yeah, when they call you back, great.
So, Harma, I'm a seller, and my neighbor's house just sold 3 months ago for more money than you're asking me to put my property on the market for. Why is my home worth less? And it's in better condition, and it's a bigger property. And why are you telling me I have to go lower than they did?
Well, I think you guys would broker matrix, right? So if you take that last month broker matrix that shows the inventory has increased month over month, that's the best thing to show a client. Just like 3 months ago, this is where we were, and now we're here. And I usually give the story about 2007. Do you remember what happened? The client says, yes, I remember a crash. You say, well, California real estate is 10-year cycle. We're in 2018.
So are we going to go through a crash?
I don't think it will be as bad, but let me show you something. I usually grab my phone. I have multiple emails. I use the team emails. I put BPO, and then all the BPOs come up, and I show it to them. I'm like, look at how many BPOs I've received last 30 days. And I scroll down. I'm like, look, I had nothing in 2017. I'm like, where do you think this is going? And I educate them. I don't tell them your property is not worth. I focus on where we were and where we're going.
So you had another, and then I'll ask you guys a couple questions. You had a great thing on Facebook the other day, and I asked a lot of people to go there and listen to it, even Vivian. I was like, this is so great. So I'm a seller, and there's all these discount companies out there. And why, can you discount?
Like role play.
Okay, so I'm a seller, and Joe Schmo said that they can do it for 1% and pay the outside broker for 3.5%.
That client interviewed me. I said 1.7. They both said you're crazy.
1.7
million.
Uh-huh.
They said you're crazy. 1.9. I said I'm not the right agent. They listed with their best friend from Marina, Brookshire Hathaway, somewhere here. 5 months later, they were at 1.6. They canceled. They interviewed me, and it was 3 floors facing this beautiful freeway called 101. and they said, would you like to get a tour? I said, no. It's large home, and I've seen it. It's no. And when we went through the appointment again, and I asked them what they want to list, and I said, well, you will be in a la la land. We should be in the reality. And the reality is 5 to 10% reduction from your active list price, which will put you on 1.49. That's high, so we should go to 1.45. They're like shocked, and it's just, you just want to do it right there and then, be done. And I didn't want the listing. Guess what? I already didn't take it first time, so it was fine. And then when we're done, I thought, okay, done. They want me, and I'm the farming agent. I I have 4 listings around it, so I was done. And then they both said, will you do the same price as Jennifer? And I said, what price? The list price? Because I know the commission. I said, what did she charge? And he said 4. And I said, no. And you know, when you say no, you just have to shut up because whoever speaks first loses. So I said, no. And they both were very uncomfortable, and they said, well, that's what she offered. And I said, well, would you like me to do 4 and not sell? And it took them 30 seconds, and then they're like, well, no, we want to sell. I said, how about I'll listen for 0%? And one of them was so excited, and I was like, okay. I said, I'll do it for 0%, but the only thing will happen, the moment we sell, my commission will go to 5. But if we don't sell until that day, it's 0.
So, Bill, my house is newly remodeled. Yes, it has a little bit smaller lot. Yes, it doesn't have a pool, but it has a better paint and has better cabinets, has better bathrooms than the house up the street that just sold for more than what you're telling me. Why are you telling me I have to be less than that when mine's a better quality? That was really bad construction.
That's a conversation you never want to get sucked into, because every client thinks their house is the Taj Mahal. And
in any market, right?
Yeah.
Any market, up, down, middle, no
yeah.
market, whatever.
We
Their house.
have the best cabinet. This is the highest quality that Home Depot has. They're the best. They're like, yeah, okay, you went to Home Depot and got the finest cabinets in a $5 million house. It just doesn't cut it. You know, so you never want to get pulled in to say, because your house sucks. You know, you're like, yeah, you use crummy carpet, you have green walls, you didn't listen to my stager, you didn't do this. You always want to keep it positive and keep it upbeat. Well, you know, this house had a couple things going for it, and your house has some advantages, but, and that's why, but I've been caught
So
in
how
that
do
downward
you
spiral.
tell them now that the market has shifted, and even though they may have a little bit better home, but the market is different than it was. So what do you tell them?
So this house went into escrow 60 days ago, and it's closed escrow. So people were looking at that house 70 days ago. In the 70 days, the market has shifted, and we are now at this number for your house. And we can, again, we can list here, but we should probably be a little bit under that number to attract some buyers. The market will tell us in the first 20 days whether we've hit that number or not. If we haven't, we'll probably need another price adjustment.
So I love what I do. What we do is, you know, when they say, well, you know, that if we reduce it that low, then there's no coming back. Here's, like Marty said, we're not going to leave money on the table. What we're trying to do is attract as many of the buyers that are looking to buy today to come to your home before they'll go to all the other homes and make your home the most attractive home. So we have to bring it to a certain price point where we can attract as many buyers as possible. The buyers will dictate your price. I don't get to dictate your price. The market doesn't dictate your price. The MLS doesn't dictate your price. The comps don't dictate your price. It's what a buyer is willing to pay for your home today. And the only way I'm going to be able to do that is to get a price so low that I can get as many buyers as possible to your home. And I just had this recent experience. It was there was a listing that was on the market for 6 months, $1,170,000. That agent reduced it to $1,130,000. Do you think it sold the home? No. We took it at $995,000. We had 9 offers in the first week. They started at $895,000. The offers. We got them up to full price, but that was the market. And he was like, "But you know, before we had offers at $1,050,000." I said, "Did it close?" He's like, "No." I said, "So really, it's not a real offer. I'm trying to get you to close." So those are my conversations with sellers. Great point is, people, and Harma also said you can't be a specialist everywhere. Is know your marketplace, be a specialist, because the consumer's asset, instead of it increasing on a monthly basis, is until it levels off, is going to be decreasing. Would you guys all agree? So they want someone that's a local expert. It's no longer, I'm going to have my boyfriend's girlfriend's friend list my home from Altadena.
That's a very cool relationship.
Yeah. Boyfriend's girlfriend was, yeah. So anyway, you want to make sure that you know your neighborhood, you know your comps, you know how many homes have sold, because that's what's really going to get you that listing. And you'll start to see these no-name brokerages and no-name agents or out-of-area agents come in, list at a very high. We went on a listing, and we told them 2.4, and we were being really nice. And they went ahead and listed with an agent for $3 million, and she's in Pasadena. She has a lockbox on it, okay? And we called her, and she said, yeah, just get the code and go in. Well, first of all, you're overpriced by at least $700,000, and you put a lockbox on it. Do you think that property is going to sell? Nope. So are we going to get sloppy seconds or thirds? Yes.
No problem.
And no problem. Now, this market is changing, and it seems like it's in my favor for once, Marty. And so, I don't know, you don't deal with buyers, I know, but that's why I went to maybe I should just wait, and maybe I could get for a lower price, because if it does anything like it did in the last market, I may wait and get another 30% off this property.
I actually showed a house Friday.
Oh, good job. Was it 300,000? Oh, okay, I didn't think so.
Listed 4.7. These particular buyers have seen everything in the 4 to 5 range. I'm even calling builders before the house is ready on the market. But this happened to come in. We went out and looked at it. Second time, they wrote a 4.1 offer on Saturday.
On what was the list price?
4.7.
4.7.
We got a 4.3 counter this morning.
Nice.
So I mean, that's a heck of a haircut. I believe there's still another 100, 150 in there. And I think the way the seller is looking at it is, it's holiday season. By the time we actually get up and running again, it'll be February. It's costing me 50, 60 grand a month to hold this. Chances are it was overpriced to begin with, which I believe he was. So I think it'll go.
But maybe if I wait a little bit longer, I can maybe get it for 3.7 or 3.6. Why shouldn't I wait?
I think consumer confidence will be back up. I think that once people realize that the bottom is not going to fall out of this like it did in 07, there's just so many fail safes in this market that we didn't have.
Like what? Give me an example.
100% financing, 110% financing. I mean, you get your dog with a social security number in a heartbeat, you can get $1 million loan. How attached are you to this property if it didn't cost you anything? Heck, not only did it not cost you anything, you could live in it for up to a year and not make a single payment.
And still get money
Still
at the
get
end.
cash for keys to get out. Exactly. So there was nothing to lose, right? Today everybody's got 20%, especially in anything over $1 million, and everything out here is over $1 million. So you're vested. You're going to start selling things before you let this house go. It's just human nature now, right?
I think the other side of that, our fail-safe, is the economy. The people are believing in the economy. We don't have all those thousands of foreclosure properties that may be coming in the market. The economy's strong. The companies are coming. People are relocating here. Our inventory is down. We haven't been building in the last couple of years like we should have been building. There's a real need for housing.
So why are the prices going down, Bill?
It's a simple market correction. But if you don't buy today, nobody necessarily knows that the market is going down. We do know that interest rates are going up. So if you don't buy today, you might buy less of a house for higher of a mortgage price than you could today. So get in and buy that house today before it costs you a lot more to buy that same house in 6 months.
I like that a lot.
Harma, I'm a buyer.
What?
and-
Wait, did Hartman not have anything to say?
He doesn't work with buyers.
I have two scripts. One is you're interested in the property for $1 million. If I find at 1.2 and I get it for 1 million, will you buy it? Or would you like to still wait for a year?
Well, I mean, do you think we can get it for less than $1 million?
If I know everything that I think I should know, I would have bought everything in 2007 and I would never work right now. So I don't know. But I will make sure that you get 5 to 10% below what is listed. So if the market corrects by next year for 5 to 10%, you still bought it below. Would you buy now or no?
Well, I mean, I'd like to get the lowest price possible.
We all do.
So, do you think that's the lowest?
I don't know. I just need to make sure you're committed to work with me because I have few other buyers. If you're not and you're gonna wait, I just need to focus on the ones that are ready to go for now, and then I'll come back to you.
There you go. Bam! And you got it? Because you can't work with buyers that are looky-loos right now, right? Why? Because your time is very valuable.
And one more thing, what will be? Do you know what your payment will be when you purchase?
Well, my mortgage broker told me at $1 million, I'm going to be paying $3,500 or something like that. Yeah.
Okay, so
$4,500.
if the rates goes up,
Yeah.
that's everything cash. So you got lost. What's the payment? I only brought property taxes. So 3,500.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what the price of the property will be, right? So that's all you care about.
Well, I mean, I'd like to know I got a deal. I don't want to know that I overpaid and, later somebody else bought it for cheaper than I did.
So rates are right now 5%.
Right.
If they go to 6.5 to 7, your payment will be 4,200.
Right.
Would you still purchase $1 million property, or would you like 900? Because I'm not sure what you're looking for. They don't know that. Once you go there, they're like.
So do you understand what he just said? No. So you're going to get a home at a higher rate, but you're going to get it for $900,000, but at a higher rate. And you're going to buy $1 million home at a lower rate.
And if they're on W-2, it's okay. But if they're not, and they're a business and have to do their taxes for next year, they might not ever be able to buy it, because if the industry changes, if Fannie Mae just changes the way they lend, you lost all the business owners. So
I want to keep everybody on time. Who should an agent be focusing on in this market and the coming market? Marty.
I'm focusing on banks.
Banks. Okay.
Banks, hedge funds, anybody who's in default. I track numbers. So anybody who's late on car payments, anybody who hasn't made a mortgage payment, or their DTI is over a certain point, email.
And Marty brought something to my attention, which I didn't know. In this round of BPOs, what they're doing is the banks are actually analyzing, like if you miss, who were you telling me? There's a whole new
They have an
system.
algorithm in place where they basically rate your credit score to your available credit allowance. So let's say you're at a 710 and you have $100,000 worth of credit. Once you start to get to 75 or 80,000 usage on that credit line, you become a risk. And then if you start to have more inquiries, now they'll trigger a BPO. You're not late yet, but let's find out what happens if you are late. Chances are you're going to be late.
So yeah, it's a pre-crime thing. So that's a lot different than before. So they're already figuring out that, hey, this person may in 6 to 9 months go in. Let's figure out what the value of this, because then we'll work with them or not work with them. Is that correct? Is that basically it?
Absolutely, and they're already offering people, some kind of loan modification, hardships. So that's already starting to come in. That's why you haven't seen so many short sales. We actually had a short sale.
Yeah, we did.
And
Yeah, Ron.
Yeah. Yes.
Right, there you go.
Yeah. You're right, and they offered the guy some kind of, I mean, he hasn't made a payment in years, all of a sudden,
Yeah.
they're offering him a workaround.
Workaround, and he hasn't made a payment
So,
in years. Yeah.
They're gonna try to get ahead of this market, so we have to get a little more advanced.
Bill, who should we be focusing on in this market?
We're on the business owners with high mortgages on their properties. Most of the high-end stuff, the higher the price, typically the more cash it is. The real high-end stuff is all cash. But right now, we're seeing a lot of business owners that are leaving the state, and they're taking their companies with them. And those are the people that we're tracking right now. My market, believe it or not, it's pretty teeny. It's less than 700 homes. So it's a gated community, and I don't do a lot of just random marketing out there. We market specifically our listings and our properties. Number one, realtors can't get in with a gate pass, so that's a huge benefit for me. There's no signs allowed, and no open houses. So it's really kind of a unique market. But right now, I mean, it used to be the doctors and the lawyers that made all the money, right? Yeah, doctors and lawyers, those were the kingpins that we went after. Now it's these guys that own these random businesses, and women, the internet stuff, that's selling tchotchkes, that's, I get a guy that's in the recycling business. I mean, worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Another guy that makes propellers around the world, ship propellers. And, who thinks there's money in ship propellers? But the people with high mortgages on their properties, and they're typically looking to take businesses out of the state, and that's who we see a lot
They're
of
flexible.
people.
Yeah. Harma, who should they be focusing on?
Let me answer it differently. 4 things I have for you. One, write this down for someone.
We've got a recording, so we'll have it on.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Do not talk or hang out with anyone who has your own production. So, you get that? Do not talk to them. Just don't even hang out with them. You can't afford that. You
So who should you hang
hang
out
out with Bill.
with? Hang out with Bill.
And it has to have 3-4 times more production than you do. You can't afford. Because you all think the same, and one you will come up with an idea, and the other one is afraid. He will tell you don't do it, and you both not walk out of the office, and none of you will do anything. So don't listen. Number 2, get used to saying no to a lot of great ideas that you might have. You're not Edison. You're not here to invent anything. Go back to basic and do what you need to do. Number 3, get a coach. You have to have a coach. Any top producing agent has a coach. If you don't, you won't survive. And number 4,
What does a coach do?
holds you accountable to do something that you come up with. You're paying for that. And number 4, try to be an expert in a pocket and have a value proposition. Write it down. Why to work with you, and then present that to a buyer and a seller to tell them why you. If you're not clear about what you're going to do, they're not going to be clear about what to hire you for.
And my to investors, start building your investor list, because they're the people that are going to be buying up any deals that are coming up, and the people that are willing to buy and hold. So those are the people you should be talking to. In this current market or upcoming market. Bill.
Spending money. I mean, there's so many free avenues out there to get out there. I mean, social media is the obvious one, but also open houses. Get out there and meet people. Don't be sitting at your desk Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. That's not what we do in real estate. Get out there and meet people. Tell them you're in real estate. The worst thing you can ever hear is your best friend says, "Oh, I just bought a house. My sister just bought a house." Like, what? No, I didn't know you were in real estate. Well, it's not their fault. Don't be mad at them. Be mad at you. Business cards are about the cheapest advertising. Be giving 20 of them away wherever you are. Oh, do you have a business card? Oh, can I give you a business card? I mean, just leave those things everywhere you can and let people know when you think of real estate, they think of you. You're the realtor. You're the expert. You're the go-to person. And again, you can't get mad at a friend or a neighbor or somebody who bought a house with somebody else because they didn't know you were in real estate. Don't spend money like I did.
Some people, I've heard agents come in and say, "Can you believe my client said they didn't think I was still in real estate?"
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And why is that? Because you haven't been touching them. You haven't been doing what you're supposed to be doing.
They're not clients, they're customers.
They're customers, yeah. So, a lot of agents feel like the people are gonna walk through the door, or they're gonna, you know, those days are over. There's no more walk-ins. I don't care if you're in the middle of Lincoln and wherever. People are online. They're shopping. Just like if you don't go to a car dealership and just walk in without doing your homework, right? Especially in when the high-end marketplace, because people want to know who handles the most listings, who should they be going to. That's who they're going. There's no walk-in. So being in the office is not going to make you money.
Can I just
Yeah.
add 2 cents? What Harma said earlier, you used to show 50 houses, and we all drove big 4-door German cars because we needed the big back seats, put the car seats and the kids, and drive everybody around all day Saturday. Now you get the phone call like, "Hey, I saw this house online. Can you show me 123 Main Street?" And like, "Sure. You know, I can drive there in my convertible Porsche and show you that house." I mean, so it's really dramatically shifted as the way people see houses. So if you're spending thousands of dollars every month on the newspaper ads, guess what? How many people do you think are really reading those? Everybody is on their phone nowadays. Those newspaper ads, I mean, that's one thing that really squashes.
James and his team do an amazing job on buyer consultation. I think that you got to give the buyer the value proposition, you know, because if you don't, the buyer has it on his phone. He calls that listing agent, just drives up to that property. It shows up on his screen who the agent is, how much the price is. They don't need you, but you got to show them why they need you.
That's why you want to be a listing agent.
Yeah, that's true. But if you're a buyer's agent, you should do a buyer's consultation, because we do have a lot of teams that are buyer's agents. So if you're working with a buyer and you haven't done a buyer consultation, you don't have anybody? You don't have a buyer. Unless you have a contract, you don't have a buyer. You don't have a listing unless you have a listing agreement, right? So you basically have an open listing with a buyer. Okay? Marty, what should you not be doing?
Take your foot off the gas. This is the first year in 8 years.
Didn't hear you.
Take your foot off the gas.
Do not.
Do not.
Okay.
This is the first year in 8 years that I've not taken December off. Market's in a shift. I need to shift. Things need to change. It all starts with me. If I don't lead the way for my group, they don't, they just don't follow. So it's all about leading by example. This year we're in town, we're working, we're grinding, we're sitting in the houses. I'm doing all the things that I haven't had to do in years, but we're at that point now, right? So I'm staying focused and full speed ahead.
There's things in that.
You go to the thing and Harma's face comes out.
What is your greatest challenge, and what do you suggest to overcome it in this current market right now? Bill,
Greatest challenge as far as
just in sales. What do you think, or clients, or what do you think?
what Marty just said is don't take your foot off the gas. December is when people go to sleep, and then we get into January, and then we used to say, oh, the market doesn't start up until Super Bowl. Well, they started moving Super Bowl till February, so it's like, no, that's too much time off. This is the time to get back to the grindstone. Hit January running hard, and really get back to the basics again. Cut the spending, get out there and meet people. And again, it's a relationship business. These are your friends. Go to your Sphere. If you're in a yacht club, if you're in a country club, if you're going to dinner, whatever it is, get out there, meet people, and devote.
Business, huh?
It is a people business still, believe it or not. And we're seeing the iPad, the iOffers, the Zillow offers, and all that stuff coming into the marketplace. And hey, it's one stop. Click here, we'll get your mortgage, your insurance, your property taxes, your title insurance, everything on our phone. And they're seeing in a lot of markets where it's not working. They want that touch. Hey, I have a question regarding the kitchen. Hey, I have a question regarding the area, the school district, whatever it is. So there is some interaction that needs to be done. And then I say it goes back to just being the expert in your area. Don't farm the entire Southern California region. You are the expert in your area. If you're just starting out, start with 200 homes. Your title rep will help you with those 200 homes. Kill it with those 200 homes. They should know your face. And then go to 300, and then go to 400. And it's, again, relatively inexpensive to do. But this is the time, when
Hard work though, right?
it's a lot of work. Yeah, it's a lot of work.
Is real estate ever easy?
No. And the good thing about real estate, it's always changing. if you don't like somebody, you got 60 days to deal with them, and then you move on. And you treat them like a king and queen, and that's 60 days. Guess what? Another 60 days, they're going to refer somebody to you, and you go, I hated that person, and they just referred me somebody. So, be nice to everybody. Don't burn any bridges. Of course, all that stuff. Just stay focused during these what everybody else thinks is slow time.
What is Harma, what do you think the biggest challenge is, and what do you suggest?
Well, real estate is very simple. To be good at what you do, it's very simple. It's just not easy. I think.
What do you mean it's not easy? Does it take hard work?
You just have to. Most agents, it's 80-20 or I will say 90-10. They like to come in the morning, they have their coffee, and then just hang out, and then they'll respond to some emails, and I don't know what emails.
Isn't that real estate though?
Yeah, so that's the number one agent, number two agent, top agents don't do that. They don't. Anyway, so answer the phone. Don't tell them when they call you, you push for, I'm with a client, text me. They text you, then you say auto respond. Call my office. They call your office and I go faster respond, text me. I had that recently. So just pick up the phone. As an operating principle, when I call agents, well, of course, my number is not programmed in your number, in your phone. So most agents answer the phone like, "Hello, who is this?" Like, aren't you in sales? Like, if only people you know call you, that's sad. You should not do real estate. You want to get numbers you don't know. Like, so just pick up the phone. Most people don't do that, and the connection goes away. So pick up the phone, call them back. Don't be afraid to talk, and that text and social media concept that you only sell homes in social media. You better have your name on the whiteboard up and down, otherwise your social media is not working. So I think you should focus on that touch.
We're running out of time, so we're going to have the question and answers real quick. What's a better market to make money? Is it an up market, down market, or a normal market?
Doesn't matter. There's money to be made in every single market.
Yeah, I agree.
Marty? My answer is, in a normal market, that's where you make more money. Do you know why? Because you have less competition.
If you work.
If you work, that's true. Yes. You have less competition. And what Bill said, that most agents don't come back until February, is true. When I go to listing appointments today, I said, well, 50% of the population is already checked out mentally and physically.
From Halloween to...
Well, November 1st, 30%, and then by December 1st, 50%. And unfortunately, those agents don't come back until February 15th because that's where they figure that's when people are going to start doing things. If you've noticed, our office is a little different. We're having activities and we're getting things for you guys to do during the month of December so you don't check out mentally and physically because there's enough business for you and we want you to get the business, not our competition. So, a lot of people are saying, well, maybe we should hold off and do it next month or in February. No, we need you guys in here. We need you guys thinking about real estate in December and January because you have less competition in this marketplace. So we're going to open it up to a few questions. Please raise your hands.